Folks, thanks for joining us today. My name's John Dubas with Premier Marketing, and we'll be spending the next 45 minutes to an hour or so discussing a topic that's really pertinent to the time frame that we are in, and that is making use of hospital indemnity plans to supplement any type of basic Medicare coverage that you are offering individuals in now and in the upcoming AEP period. But it's also a program that gives you some additional latitude because it's not just for a 65 plus, even though that is our core strength and our target market. We will be recording today's presentation. We are recording today's presentation, and the link to that recording and much of the material that we'll reference through the course of today's presentation will be sent to everyone who has RSVP'd to today's meeting. You'll notice in the software package that there is a question or a question box there for you to use. Please put your questions in there. We have everyone on mute at present to maintain some sort of control over the background noise that we can have in these situations. But we will make certain that we address every question that we receive. Generally, we do so through the course of the presentation, but we'll make certain that we look for and get you the answers to the questions that you have moving forward. We will start with a little bit of level set about our organization. For those of you who aren't as familiar with Premier Marketing, we're a national marketing organization that was founded in 1968. We're part of the Integrity Marketing platform with offices across the country. We act as an insurance wholesaler, providing insurance products to the public through independent insurance agents such as yourself, and we do so through a contracting arrangement that provides the highest possible commission levels with recruiting contracts available to those who qualify. As I mentioned, we were founded in 68, so we've recently achieved a milestone in our history, our 50th anniversary, which we consider quite an achievement for what started as a small family agency in rural Nebraska that's become one of the largest marketing organizations of its type in the country. We do so through a full insurance portfolio that includes the basic Medicare programs, the Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement health programs, and the standalone Part D prescription drug plans. But we also have a full portfolio of life insurance and annuity products, including final expense life insurance, pre-need plans, long and short-term care programs, disability income plans, and ancillary benefits such as we'll discuss today that include dental vision hearing programs, critical illness and cancer plans, and the hospital indemnity programs that are our basic topic for today. That Medicare Advantage portfolio includes the national carriers and many of the strong regional carriers that make a difference for you in your market. And that same philosophy carries over into the standalone prescription drug programs where those national carriers are there for you as well. Keep in mind on this list, we still list the Envision RX program, even though they have pulled distribution from all the broker arrangements that they had going into 2021. We do so leave that on there to remind me to say, hey, watch out for your Envision, soon to be Elixir standalone Part D programs, because there are things you need to do to make certain that you receive your renewals and to attend to those folks that have that coverage. When you look at the Medicare Supplement programs, we have a very large and robust listing of those programs available as well, in addition to specific programs that help you in the marketing of those programs, different support that can help you be successful in that space as well. When you look at the ancillary products in each of these sections, you have the national leaders there, including our partners presenting today with Guaranteed Trust Life, one of our oldest and most coveted products that we offer as well. But in each of the categories, you have choices that help you not only create another revenue stream for your agency and another means of prospecting into the community, but it also gives you that opportunity to take care of those expenses that aren't covered by the base medical programs and satisfy that need for your prospects and your book of business. When you look at the Medicare market overall, You don't come on a program today without someone speaking to you of the silver tsunami, the aging of the baby boomers, the 10,000 people every day turning 65, one every 10 seconds. But if you look at the Medicare market based just on numbers, even though that is a very large market of 65 plus, you're not really looking at the Medicare market because there's a percentage that will continue to work or delay Medicare coverage after they turn 65. And we're missing almost a sixth of the Medicare market that are accessing those benefits because of disability. And that makes this a very large market to work in. And when you look at today's product that we discussed with some of the lower age parameters that don't require Medicare coverage, we're looking at a very large number of people that we can speak to in regards to our programs. And that's important because it's necessary for us to kind of look at, well, what are the needs of the people that we're talking about? And we see that the folks that are on Medicare, well, 2/3 of them have 3+ chronic conditions, and some have challenges with their wallet as well, with their income and their savings. So it's important for us to make certain that we have a portfolio of product that helps them address those needs because they have choices. First off, they don't have to do anything if they don't want to. They don't even have to pick up the optional Part B with Medicare. Most do, but that's a choice. When they have those base coverages, then most of the people look for additional help with some of the uncovered expenses. A first move in many circumstances is picking up that prescription coverage, be it through a standalone prescription drug program that they can add to should they choose a Medicare supplement, a standardized, modernized supplement, or they can go with the Part C programs and in many instances integrate in that coverage into their portfolio moving forward. The thing is, in each of the choices that they can or might make, there are opportunities for us to address other challenges that they have with their base coverages, and hence the need for some of the ancillary programs that we talk about. Because when they do the basic choice, when they first come into Medicare, be it as they turn 65 or as it notes here in this slide from Death Research, a late to Medicare senior, we're seeing a fairly even split between Medicare Advantage and Med Sups in that initial choice. And in either way that they go, they have a need for the programs that we offer. That includes the people that may still show as original Medicare only, because that takes into account some of the dual beneficiaries, the people who have decided not to make a decision on additional coverage on the base medical programs, people that access the VA or have retirement programs. But in each circumstance, they have a need for what we offer. A varied type of background can be helped by any of the programs that we put forward, but specifically those addressing a hospital stay. Since we are dealing with the Medicare market and a bunch of the acronyms that come with it, we have guides that will come to you as part of the follow-up that helps you define what an ACO is, what a CPI is. And I've been in the business for 30-some years. I will guarantee you there are acronyms out there I've got no clue without looking up what they would be. This helps in our discussion. And it's an important point to remind us that one of the things that we see with the Medicare population, they don't always understand what they have and what they haven't got. And this helps us walk through their coverages, explain their options, and reminds us to use a language they understand during our conversations, because we find ourselves in the business being caught up in acronyms, and using them sometimes hinders the effectiveness of our presentations. So one of the first things that's important is making certain we know what is covered in this area. You've got the Medicare and You handbook that will be going out to the general population next week. They can access it electronically. There's also an app now, of course, you're all aware of, that Medicare has that allows you to investigate some of the, investigate the coverages that you have on a mobile device, even with an explanation of different programs. However, within that Medicare and You book, it also speaks to what isn't covered, and that includes some of the deductibles and coinsurance that a person has on Medicare, and helping them realize that a stay in a hospital is very expensive, and we're having the use of hospitals kind of morphed a little bit into the different providers acceding to the pressures they have on maintaining controls over the length of a stay in a hospital and how you're admitted. So it's important for us to also go beyond that and look at some of the folks that are on Medicare Advantage plans, what specifically they cover and what they don't as well, and how some of the programs that we make available are extra valuable when you look at the growth in the maximum out of pocket that are in many of the Medicare Advantage programs. So this is a great program to help them with those unexpected expenses and budget for those in a more clear-headed way. We have some different tools that help you fill in the gap as well with some of the quoting machines that we have available. These are recorded as well, and they will come as part of the follow-up to today's presentation. There's a number of things that will come into play as to why someone goes into the hospital. And if we think of some of those base challenges we have with our bodies that take us into that situation, we can start with cardiovascular. A heart attack or stroke will take you into the hospital, and in many circumstances you're there for a little while, depending upon the severity of that incident, but they're expensive, regardless of the base coverages that we have. There are always also additional needs for dollars that are non-medical and based in their basics. So being aware of, we have challenges with cardiovascular, there may be a stroke that has put us in the hospital, we may be dealing with surgery of some sort or inpatient cancer treatment, but then we have all these non-medical expenses that aren't covered by our base coverage anyway, hence the need for what we're experiencing today, and that's talking about programs that can help them with these expenses in addition to some of the different things that come into play. And we'll notice that as we age, the severity of some of this and the likelihood of some of this also increases. So it's very important for us to be speaking to our prospects and clients about the costs that they have when they're hospitalized and what some of the other expenses are for those folks that maybe even have just experienced a fall. We have friends on our partnership platform where their daughter was in a golf cart accident. So it's a type of, in a manner of speaking, with a head injury. And we'll see how some of this can really drive up the expenses that people see because, well, you have other people involved that aren't working now. They aren't working. And we have to look at not only what is going out, but what is coming in this regard as well. So with that in mind, we have put together today's presentation and asked one of our partners to come on and tell us a little bit about the programs that they offer in this area. So our guest speaker for today is Greg Esposito with Guarantee Trust Life with GTL. He's an assistant vice president of sales for the organization. He has a great presentation. They have a summit coming up next week as well. Some different things that we would ask you to be aware of and watch for not only today's presentation, but some of the things they're offering in the very near future. So at this point in time, I'm going to turn the control of the helm over to Greg and be still and listen to his presentation. Thanks, Greg. We appreciate you coming on and helping us.
You got it, John. Really glad to be here today. And I was thinking while you were going over the history of Premier that, Premier and GTL are fast approaching our 20-year mark in our relationship together. And it's been an absolute great relationship. And I guess it's true, time does go by fast when you're having fun and helping clients. So I want to thank you, everyone at Premier, and also all the agents with us today who have been selling GTL for quite some time. Really great to be with you. We are going to have some fun today going over the hospital indemnity plan and then also a special section on how to cross-sell it. So why don't we get started? A lot of good information to get going with. Now, if you do happen to be brand new with regard to GTL, a couple things that are great to know. We've been around for quite a long time, since 1936. AM Best rating, A-, excellent, zero debt on our balance sheets. What I think is just as important is being able to know the company that you're dealing with, and what are we known for. So GTL is known for creating ancillary products to help clients with out-of-pocket expenses when they use their main insurance plan. Today's presentation on hospital indemnity, a perfect example. Most of your clients are going to have Medicare Advantage. This plan is going to be incredible to help them lower their net out-of-pocket costs to zero. We're also known for getting things done fast, efficiently, and correct. So look forward to working with you. If you have not worked with GTL, we're going to develop a great relationship with you and your clients. When it comes to developing coverage, we always try to make sure we come to the market with a product that nobody else has, with bells and whistles that nobody else has. And back 15 years ago, we did create a product called Advantage Plus. We keep upgrading it to make sure it's still the best hospital indemnity plan in the market. So I look forward to telling you about that. Something that we do special at GTL is we don't want to just come out with a product and say, well, I hope our agents sell it. We like to make sure we do everything we can to help you bring up the sale, develop cross-selling tools for you, anything we can do to make sure you can bring it up easily, get across the point of the product so the clients understand it. And then also we want to make sure that you can get that application done very quickly. So I'll share with you today a couple of those tools, our cross-selling video, our infographic, and then also keep in mind any way you are going to work this open enrollment and throughout the rest of the year, we have a e-platform ready to go. If you're going to be meeting with the client in person, you'll want to download GTL e-app onto your Apple or Android device. That way, when you're with a client, they're going to sign your device screen and they are done. If you're not going to be meeting with the client, we still have you covered. We have our PC platform, also called our agent portal. So you can use that from your PC or one of your other devices, like a tablet. And if you're not with the client, no problem. The PC platform does not require a signature. There's a very short verification call that is done. It's automated. And let me show you exactly what the GTL platforms look like. All of them, whichever one you use, look exactly the same, and they're super easy to use. So you can see when you use the GTL platforms, whichever one it is set up to instantly underwrite and issue the business in a couple minutes. So think about that as you're going through open enrollment. You're definitely going to be able to meet with the client or virtually meet with the client, submit the e-application, and in a couple minutes, they will receive an email. You will receive an email that their business has been underwritten and most likely issued. So keep that in mind. Also, The only time you need to do a verification call is when you are not meeting with the client. And again, that verification call is only a couple minutes. It's totally automated and super easy for the client to complete. All right, so what are we trying to accomplish with regard to a hospital indemnity plan? Well, if we're sitting with the client or virtually meeting with the client and we're going over their Medicare Advantage plan, if they're lucky enough to be in a county where they don't have a premium to pay, boy, that's incredible. And that's always great news. However, if you start looking at the Medicare Advantage copays they can experience when they use it, they're not that scary if you're looking on a one-by-one basis. But we all know what happens down the road. They end up taking an ambulance to the hospital. Maybe they're in the hospital for 2-3 days. And that's when they come home and they have that big Medicare Advantage copay. And that's when they start wondering if there was a little better way to do it. So what we want to do is avoid that scenario. So we want to cross-sell a hospital indemnity plan well before they end up needing it. We're going to show you today how it's super affordable, probably about $1 a day for your clients to have this coverage. And so when they have that future hospitalization stay, they're actually going to have zero net out-of-pocket costs. So that's really what we want to accomplish today. Now, the plan from GTL is called Advantage Plus. It's been the market leader for the past 15 years, and we work really hard to make sure we know what's out there and that our product is always upgraded to continue to be the best hospital indemnity plan in the market. But we have a great history. 15 years, no rate increases, never a reduction in policyholder benefits. So a really great product history right there. Now, right from the beginning, we built this product to be able to be understood easily by clients, used easily by clients. And since we've processed hundreds of thousands of claims, we're really good at it and we do it very quickly compared to our competition. And as mentioned earlier, we've got some great cross-selling tools and our e-platforms are set up to instantly underwrite and issue your business. So imagine that. You're writing a policy, you submit it, a couple minutes later, it is issued, and guess what? Your commissions are coming soon after that. With regard to using the plan, once you have it, you can use it in all 50 states. So even though we do not issue this plan in 6 states, you can use it in all 50 once you do have it. Good to know. Also, something else that's great to know. If your client changes their MA plan in the future, or maybe they move to a different state, they can still keep their GTL plan, just pay the premiums, and they can still use it. So if you're on the fence, whether you want to talk to clients about hospital indemnity, let me tell you a little bit about why you really should. Now, what you see on the right side of your screen are some individual policyholders' claim benefits to date. So yes, those are individual Advantage Plus policies, and those are individual amounts that GTL has paid to a policyholder. So I can really bet that everyone who's looking at this on the screen is saying, yeah, I'm sure the clients who have these policies are really happy their agents took a couple minutes to tell them about hospital indemnity. Now, sometimes it doesn't have to be that huge of a claim benefit to make a big difference. I'm going to play for you a really short 12-second voicemail that was left on an agent's phone by one of their GTL clients.
Doug, this is Ann Miller. Just letting you know that I received my check. I am so grateful for all your help. We can save our home. Thank you so much. Bye.
So that claim was less than $3,000, but it was the difference between that policyholder being able to keep their home or not. So when we think about should we talk to clients about hospital indemnity, let's just start from here. How many of our clients have a big chunk of money, like you see on your screen, sitting in their bank account? And I'm sure some of them do, but most of them will probably not be able to take that amount out and not have to change their lifestyle at all. So let's definitely talk to our clients about hospital indemnity. Now, how does selling Advantage Plus affect you? Pretty simple. As I've traveled the country the last 20 years, most of the agents that have talked to me about hospital indemnity and their success selling it, they say they have at least a 70% cross-selling closing rate. That's pretty powerful. Now today, since you're hanging out with us, I'm going to share with you how they do it and a couple other tips. So we think that your closing rate is going to be even higher than 70%. Keep in mind, you can sell this product year round. So it's not just an annual enrollment product. You can sell this product year round. Pays great first year commissions. More importantly, pays renewals for the life of the policy. So keep in mind, GTL pays commissions weekly. So as you submit business is going to be issued in minutes. You're going to get paid those commissions weekly from GTL and keep that cash flowing during open enrollment. Now, to be compliant, we need to make sure if we're going to talk about GTL during the same time we have a Medicare appointment, we need to make sure the scope of appointment form is initialed next to the hospital indemnity products box. Now, that said, if you are just going to talk to your client about GTL, you do not need a scope of appointment form. So let's set up the plan. It's super simple. First thing we do, we take a peek at the client's Medicare Advantage plan, and we see how many days they have a hospitalization copay responsibility. You know, is it 4 days, 5 days, 6 days? Whichever it is, you then look at the GTL coverage, and you can choose a benefit period or base plan that covers that amount of days or more. Now, I say or more because with GTL, this is an indemnity plan. We are going to pay the policyholder all the GTL benefits they have coming to them, regardless of what their actual copays are on their Medicare Advantage plan. So let's just say we're going to choose a 6-day benefit period. They're not just getting 6 days. These benefit periods, whichever one they choose, are going to restore an unlimited amount of times after 60 days of no use. But let's just say for this example, we're working with Mrs. Smith and she picked the 6-day benefit period. That's going to work out perfect for her. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to look at Mrs. Smith's Medicare Advantage plan again and see how much she owes per day when she's in the hospital. Is it $250, $280, $320? Well, whatever it is, we've chosen her a 6-day benefit period. We can choose between a $250 or $750 benefit per day. So anywhere in between those two numbers in $10 increments, we can choose. So you can set this thing up to match or exceed her copay. So you could actually set this plan up so that Mrs. Smith makes money when she's in the hospital. And that may not be, the only reason you do that, but another one that does make sense is we know Medicare Advantage plans tend to have increases in copays as time goes by. So why not get the client a little more GTL coverage now when they're at a younger age? Good idea. Two other benefits that come with each base plan: emergency room benefit. So if the client goes to the ER due to an injury, let's say they fell and broke their hip, they're going to be treated and then they're going to be admitted. In those situations, due to an injury, treated and admitted, they're going to get the $150 emergency room benefit. Also, since they're in the hospital, they're going to start getting that daily confinement benefit that we just went over. Now, a totally separate benefit is the mental health benefit. So if the client does go into the hospital or mental health facility due to a mental illness, their benefit is going to be $175 per day for up to 7 days. So whichever plan you choose, 1 day, 3 days, 6 day, 10 day, they get all three of these components. Now, when you show the client some of the great consumer cross-selling tools we have, like the video or the infographic, they're going to most likely ask you one question. They're going to say, boy, this thing sounds good. 1, is it affordable? And 2, how does it really work for me? So it's important for you to let them know if you go into the hospital and you're there for 12 hours, that's what makes your coverage kick in. So if you're there for less than 12 hours, the plan doesn't kick in. Now, if you do happen to sell a 10-day benefit period, keep in mind that one kicks in after 24 hours of being in the hospital. However, I have a really quick fix for you on that. If you add the short duration stay rider, costs less than $1 per month to add for most folks, that's going to make the 10-day benefit period kick in after 12 hours, just like the 3 and 6 automatically do. And if you're wondering in terms of popularity, the 6-day benefit period is the most popular product. Now, a little bit earlier in the presentation, John was talking about underage clients and then being able to possibly use a hospital indemnity plan. He's absolutely correct. We launched the 1-day benefit period back in 2018, and hasn't had a lot of traction with regard to the senior market, but certainly has with regard to the underage market. So for those clients who may have a high deductible major med type of plan, with the one-day benefit period, you can get anywhere from $1,000 up to $2,500 for one 24-hour stay in the hospital, and that can really take a big chunk out of that out-of-pocket deductible they could be facing. Now, once they are in the hospital for 12 hours and their plan kicks in, they can use it for just about anything, whether it's a scheduled surgery like a hip replacement, cancer surgery, or something that's sudden, heart attack, stroke. As long as you're in the hospital for 12 hours or more, they've got their Advantage Plus coverage kicking in. Also, something like a car accident, rush to the hospital, they're 12 hours or more, coverage kicked in. We start the clock when they check in at the hospital. So when they check in at the ER, the clock starts. Or when they check in for their scheduled surgery, the clock starts. Don't worry about observation coverage with GTL. I mentioned very early on that we built this product for use. So when it comes to observation coding, as long as the client is in the hospital long enough for their base plan to kick in, we don't care if they are coded to observation or inpatient. We're going to pay 100% of the daily benefit they have coming to them. And we also do not have a restriction with regard to how many days they can be coded to observation. You might think that that's really not an issue, but at GTL, we have seen observation stays up to 5 days in length. So think about that. We definitely don't have clients who worry about observation coding with GTL's Advantage Plus. Something we have that no other carrier does have in the hospital indemnity space is an agreement with the Mayo Clinic. So if your client gets a policy from GTL, they get immediate access to the Mayo Clinic's online symptom checker, which is an incredible little benefit. If you go online and use another different online symptom checker, you're going to find a big difference between that and the Mayo Clinic's. Mayo Clinic's has more than 30 algorithms programmed in compared to other ones. Also, it is very fast and efficient, and it gives a much better possible diagnosis because it has more drill down questions. So you're not getting this wide-ranging diagnosis with the Mayo Clinic online symptom checker. And again, you don't have to purchase this. It comes with the policy. So the base plans, whichever one you choose, restores the same exact way. If we have somebody who has a 10-day benefit period, maybe they go into the hospital for 5 days, they come home, everything's great. So after 60 days of not being in the hospital, they get a brand new 10-day benefit period for something to use in the future. Now, you see, they didn't have to use up the full 10-day benefit period. They just had to be out of the hospital after using a little bit of it for 60 days, and they get a brand new one. Now, in some instances, it doesn't work out that smooth. Sometimes they have a 10-day benefit period. They go in the hospital for 5 days, and they come home. But, before that 60-day automatic restoration happens, they need to go back in the hospital. And that's okay. They only used 5 of their 10 days the first time, so they have those other 5 to use. And then when they're out of the hospital for 60 days, you guessed it, they get a brand new 10-day benefit period to work with. So the 1-day, 3-day, 6-day, 10-day benefit periods, they all work the same way, unlimited restorations after 60 days of no use. So here's some great closures for you. And, the fun part is they're just product details that you need to know anyway. So let's get to them. Most states, the issue age is 40 to 85. What's so fun about that? Well, it's a pretty wide-ranging issue age, but the fun part is once you have this policy, you can keep it the rest of your life. At no age does it go away or benefits reduce. As long as you pay your premium, you've got the coverage. GTL has also always offered a guarantee issue window. So when you meet with your Medicare clients aging in, if they have some serious health conditions, you can get them this coverage guarantee issue. Also, besides our great history of no rate increases and never lowering benefits, we have this plan set up so when you purchase it, that's going to be your rate as you get older. So the rate does not increase automatically. It stays the same. We've never touched it. So while we don't guarantee it will always remain level, I can say that we've had this product for 15 years. The product's performing extremely well. There's no chatter going on at GTL about raising rates for Advantage Plus. We don't charge an annual policy fee. You'll notice that in most states, there's a one-time $20 application fee. as a little bit of a household discount. If the spouse is applying either at the same time or sometime down the road, we're going to waive their $20 application fee. The best thing about this product is when your client gets the check from GTL, they realize, wow, my agent really took care of me. 2, this product really works. And then they pick up the phone and they call you and say, I've got some friends that I need you to tell about Advantage Plus. So this product really does a great job of developing some referrals to help you increase your block of business. Really important slide. Whenever you meet with a client, make sure you tell them Advantage Plus has a 6-month pre-existing condition limitation. Now, it's not complicated. I've actually just cut and pasted the policy language onto your screen, and you can see it's just one sentence. But since we're having fun today, kind of doing a lot of things graphically, let me just explain it to you a more fun way. So let's say you came to my house and sold me an Advantage Plus policy, and it went into effect today because you use GTL's eApp platform, which issues the business in minutes. So anything that my doctor has been treating me for in the past 6 months, or has told me, Greg, you need to go schedule a surgery, or you need to go into the hospital to get some tests run, those are all pre-existing conditions. So since my policy went into effect today, I cannot use it for any of those pre-existing conditions for the first 6 months I have my policy in force. However, after 6 months, I can. So pretty simple. And if you wonder why we have a pre-X, well, let's think of it this way. What if you took the time to go ahead and talk to your clients about this program, and then they said, you know what, that's okay. I don't think I want that. And then a couple months later, they call you up and say, hey, I'm going into the hospital. Sign me up for that plan. Well, as you can imagine, the rates for Advantage Plus would have to be a lot higher if we had that type of situation or capability available to clients. So this is just set up to make sure people are not signing up for coverage right before they know they go into the hospital. Now, it's very important to let your guarantee issue folks know, even though they can get this policy guarantee issue, they still do have the 6-month pre-X. So somebody who maybe has COPD, a very serious issue, it's not going to be a deal breaker for them to get this coverage, have to wait 6 months in order to use it for a COPD hospitalization. Now, something else that's great to tell clients when you tell them about the pre-X, just end that conversation with, Mrs. Smith, with this product, you don't always have to wait 6 months to use it. You can use it right away if something happens that's not pre-existing. If I got the product today and I fell and broke my hip tomorrow, I can use this right away. And I can tell you from experience, you would be amazed when I look at claim numbers and stuff, how many people do use this product in the first month or two and get their claims paid. Things do happen. People do fall. Sometimes the appendix erupts. You just don't know, but it's great to have this coverage. Just a quick reminder that we do have a national training going on today. Not all of the base plans or not all of the riders we talk about will be available in your state, but I can promise you every state has a great product offering for your clients. And if you ever want a specimen policy from GTL, just give us a holler. We'll email the PDF to you in seconds. So this is basically what I think is a good idea for open enrollment. Let's get their inpatient hospitalizations taken care of with a GTL-based plan. Let's add the ambulance rider. And then maybe, depending upon the client situation, we'll talk about some of the other riders. If you get somebody the base plan plus the ambulance rider, you've done them an incredible service. So the ambulance rider, I like to think, is the best in the business because it's built for use. What I mean by that is if you take an ambulance, you're going to get your ambulance benefit. Doesn't matter if you're admitted or not. ER stay, short observation stay, doesn't matter. Whatever benefit you sign up for, from $50 all the way up to $400, that's coming to you. Now, something else that we do that some of the other carriers don't do is, if you use another ambulance within that same hospitalization event, that's okay. You may need to take it to another hospital. You may need to go to a skilled nursing facility. You're still going to get another ambulance benefit from GTL. Why do I make a big deal of this stuff? Well, it's because some other hospital indemnity carriers won't pay you your ambulance benefit unless you're admitted. We don't do that. We make sure to get the ambulance benefit to the client if they take an ambulance. You can use it up to 4 times per year, over 12 times over the life of the policy. And we do have folks that use it quite a bit. So When they do use up the 12 trips, then the ambulance rider does fall off their policy and the premium does reduce. Speaking of premium, super inexpensive, probably $3 to $5 a month to get the ambulance coverage. So it does include air ambulance. So wow, what a great, incredible rider, and your clients will most likely use it. So great to have on their policy. Critical accident rider is something that as your clients get a little bit older, bones get a little more brittle, slips and falls happen, and unfortunately so do some types of breaks. So the critical accident rider is built just for that. If your client unfortunately slips, falls, has a break, there's going to be a payout to them. You can choose a $5,000 or $10,000 maximum payout, two different riders to choose from here. In terms of affordability, super affordable. I can tell you that I'm 56 years old. I have the $10,000 rider on my hospital indemnity policy, and it costs $1.86 a month for me to have this rider. You'll notice probably by now there's an accidental death benefit too. So the maximum you can get is a total of $5,000 or $10,000 depending upon the rider choice you select. So if your client doesn't have cancer coverage, my experience in terms of asking agents how they talk about cancer coverage, more importantly, how they bring it up, very simple. They ask their client, Mrs. Smith, what company is your cancer coverage with? And when you ask a client that, it's pretty simple. It sounds to them like I should have one already, and two, I don't. So tell me a little bit about what we have as an option. So the lump sum cancer rider from GTL is super comprehensive, much more comprehensive than the other cancer riders we see out there on hospital indemnity products. First, it starts off with an invasive life-threatening cancer benefit. So that's going to be your spreading invasive cancer, stage 1, 2, 3, 4. You can choose $2,500 all the way up to $20,000 as a benefit payable upon diagnosis. Now, we also have cancer in situ coverage included in this lump sum cancer rider. That's a 25% payout. Now, cancer in situ is generally an early stage cancer, so before it's stage 1. If it's caught that early, that's great. It's going to be a 25% payout. Also included in this rider is skin cancer coverage. So a basal cell or squamous cell diagnosis is going to get the client a $500 payout, payable up to 3 times over the life of the policy. So when I say this rider was built for use, it really is. Look what we've got covered here. Skin cancer, early stage cancer, stages 1, 2, 3, 4. Very comprehensive rider. Now, if you'd like to know what agents sell, that's really important to know. Most agents sell a $10,000 rider. Now, the reason they do that, they're looking at the client's maximum out-of-pocket, and they see it's probably somewhere between $3,500 to $5,000 per year. So they're going to get them a $10,000 lump sum cancer rider. In case the client's diagnosed, they're going to start their cancer treatment, whatever it is, surgery, radiation, chemo, immunotherapy. You know, that doesn't take a week. It takes months. So if they have one maximum out of pocket and then the calendar year turns while they're still getting treatment, they got another one to take care of. So that's why we see agents selling a lump sum cancer rider, most of them in the area of $10,000. If you get a lump sum cancer rider, you may want to use the recurrence benefit as an addition. Now, that's going to allow the policyholder to get their lump sum benefit amount paid to them more than once. So if they're diagnosed, they get their lump sum payment. Treatment goes well, they go into remission, the clock starts, and the rider starts rebuilding. So if the cancer comes back after 1 year, they're going to get a payout. And all the way up after 5 years, it's up to 100% payout. So the nice thing I like about this rider, it may not be the same cancer that they're diagnosed with as the first time. Doesn't matter. If it's a covered cancer, this recurrence benefit rider is going to allow them to get that second large payout. Okay, so a couple other riders that we'll go over quickly may or may not be useful to the client depending upon their situation. Skilled nursing facility rider, lots of choices here. You can choose either a day 1 through day 50 benefit, and you can choose the benefit amount per day, or you can choose a day 21 through day 100, $120 benefit per day. It does require 3 days of being in the hospital consecutively and moving to the skilled nursing facility within 30 days of that hospitalization stay, But at GTL, we're going to do everything we can to help them get to that 3-day requirement. So we're going to count any time in the ER, any time in observation to help them get there. Outpatient surgical rider is exactly that, a surgical rider when you have surgeries completed at an outpatient surgical facility. Typical uses, cataract surgery, possibly a colonoscopy if they are removing some tissue during that procedure. So this rider is one that you may talk to your clients about, maybe if they live in a rural area and they're more likely to go to an outpatient surgical facility than a hospital. Again, I feel like getting the client a base plan with an ambulance rider is incredible coverage. Maybe you talk to them about cancer, and then some of these other riders potentially if the situation suits them. We definitely want to make sure we can get this presentation done in 10 to 12 minutes, get that application done in 2 to 3 minutes. So we're not taking more than 15 minutes of the client's time or your time during a very busy open enrollment period. Underwriting, super easy. 5 questions. You answer them all no, you get the coverage. You answer any of them yes, you do not. Guarantee issue, 64.5 to 65.5. Important for me to mention, lump sum cancer is never guarantee issue. There's an additional 4 questions on the application. Pretty short look back too. So if you have some clients that have already had cancer and been in remission for a while, take a look at that rider. They may be able to get the coverage. 6 months pre-X we already covered. Policy is contestable for 24 months. So let's make sure your clients understand the application questions, answer them honestly, and we're all good. Most people do monthly bank draft, but we can draft for any mode. No need to collect premium if your client's doing bank draft. If you do run into the circumstance where they want to be directly billed, we do offer that. However, we would need a paper application with the first premium check, and we do not offer monthly direct mode. So hopefully everyone's going on bank draft, and it's going to be great. So when you look at the first underwriting question on the application, you're going to see it only has a 6-month look back for inpatient hospital stays. That's a much smaller look back than some of our competitors. So your client, if they have not been in the hospital as an inpatient for the last 6 months, and they can answer that and the other questions no, super easy to get the coverage. So when you know about GTL's Advantage Plus, you'll know we have fewer underwriting questions. It's easier for your clients to get this coverage. We have more experience taking care of claims, processing claims. That's why we're so much faster taking care of them. And all of our e-application platforms are designed to be able to issue your business in minutes. So you'll want to download GTL e-app onto either your Apple or Android device so you can quote and do business right from there. Last thing I want to cover with regard to the product, how do we process claims? Well, sit back, relax, and don't worry about that because we make the claim process super easy for the policyholder. First, they can get a claim form just by going to GTL's main webpage. It's right there on the first page. But if they don't want to bother with that, they can give us a holler. We'll send them the claim form however they would like to receive it. Super easy for them to fill out. Policy number, contact info, when they went in the hospital, what it was for, doctor's contact info, sign the form. Then we have a HIPAA form that they just sign and date, and then we ask that they send in the hospital bill. Now, if your client has any issues getting the bill, not a problem. Since we have the HIPAA form signed already, we can reach out to the facility and get that for them. So we've designed this so it's hassle-free for you and the policyholder. We want to make sure that we process that claim in 8 to 10 business days. So when we get that information, we want to get that and get that check out to your client. So the fun part, let's get into how we master the hospital indemnity cross-sale. What we've learned by now, pretty simply, is when your clients are going to call you and say, hey, can you sell me a hospital indemnity plan? Most likely not going to happen, but if it does, they're calling you after they just got out of the hospital, and we know it's too late to get them a hospital indemnity plan. One of the funnest things I can tell you about this cross-selling is you do not need to have some incredibly smooth cross-selling line to get that sale started. The most important thing I can tell you is to just bring it up. I have an agent in Arizona. It's been selling this plan for years. He has a 90% closing ratio with this plan with his Medicare Advantage clients. His cross-selling line is to sit down with the client, and before he talks about Medicare Advantage, he says, Mrs. Smith, I just want to let you know before we start talking to you about your Medicare Advantage options, there's going to be an upsell product I'm going to tell you about afterwards. That is his cross-selling line, and you can imagine, I'm sure you can come up with one that is a little better than that. But again, this agent has an incredible 90% closing ratio, and he does it because he's got passion when he sells it. And when you just start using the GTL tools that we have for you, you're going to see this product most likely virtually almost sells itself. So let's get into how we cross-sell it really quickly. We're sitting with the client or virtually meeting with the client, and we're going to get to the point on their Medicare Advantage product where we have to tell them they have a copay when they go in the hospital. So we're going to say something like, Mrs. Smith, with this Medicare Advantage plan, you're going to be responsible for a $250 per day copay. And then just follow it up with this. Now, that's a copay that can add up. It's a concern, so I wanted to bring it to your attention, but also let you know that don't worry about it, because for about $1 a day, I'm going to show you a hospital indemnity plan that can lower those copays to zero. And that's all you have to let them know. Something like that here's a copay that's a concern. I've got a solution for you. Some agents do it a little bit differently. They'll go through all the Medicare Advantage potential copays and then say something like, now, Mrs. Smith, as your agent, I want to point out to you there's a couple areas that are a concern with regard to some copays: inpatient hospital care, ambulance, emergency care. Now, this plan is going to work great for you, but I just want to let you know there's a couple here that can add up. So don't worry, because I've got a plan that can lower these net out-of-pocket costs to zero. And then what they do is they finish the Medicare Advantage presentation, they take care of the Medicare Advantage application, and then while they are finishing up the application, they'll say to Mrs. Smith something like this. Mrs. Smith, remember a couple minutes ago, I told you there was a plan that could lower your copays to zero? Well, let me show you a quick video. And while I double check your Medicare Advantage application for accuracy, you just take a look and see if it's something you're interested in. And then play the video.
So you just enrolled for Medicare Advantage health coverage. Great choice. Did you know that there's a way to protect you from the out-of-pocket expenses you incur when using your Medicare Advantage coverage for hospitalizations? Help fill any gaps in coverage and strengthen your financial protection with an Advantage Plus hospital confinement indemnity insurance from Guarantee Trust Life Insurance Company. Since 2005, GTL's industry-leading Advantage Plus has been helping clients lower or completely eliminate their net out-of-pocket expenses stemming from Medicare Advantage copays and deductibles after a hospitalization event. Coverage is affordable and pays policyholders directly based on their time in the hospital, regardless of any other healthcare coverage they have. In addition, you can incur potential out-of-pocket costs for ambulance trips, outpatient surgery, skilled nursing, critical accidents, dental vision, or cancer treatments. Advantage Plus can help. Advantage Plus is offered year-round, and it's guarantee issue for ages 64 and a half to 65 and a half. Now let's take a closer look at how it works. Meet Brian. He's 65 years old, and his Medicare Advantage coverage leaves him responsible for a daily hospitalization copay of $250 per day for his first 5 days in the hospital. The high copay is a concern for Brian. There's an easy way to help alleviate his concerns. The GTL Advantage Plus Hospital Indemnity Insurance Policy provides a restorable 6-day benefit period of $250 per day for $22.64 per month. Brian later suffered an illness that kept him in the hospital for 5 days. After the first 12 hours in the hospital, his Advantage Plus coverage kicked in. What is the out-of-pocket cost he will incur when he leaves the hospital? With his Medicare Advantage $250 per day hospital copay, his 5-day stay totaled $1,250. Luckily, Brian's Advantage Plus benefit of $250 per day for 5 days was paid directly to him and completely covered the cost. Instead of worrying about how to pay this large sum, Brian could focus on his recovery without this financial setback. GTL's Advantage Plus is flexible and versatile, with a strong set of riders to match the desired coverage for each policyholder. So what if Brian had to take an ambulance to the hospital for his illness? Adding the ambulance rider to Brian's coverage would cost him less than $5 a month, and Brian would receive $200 each time he uses an ambulance, even if he is not admitted as an inpatient. Now is a great time to think about GTL's Advantage Plus.
So there you go, a great little video that you can play on any type of device that you're not using when you're meeting with the client. And yes, I'm sure you guys were asking yourself, where else could I use this? Obviously, you're going to use it during the appointment. You can share this video link on social media. You can put it on your website, or you could email it to your client, say, hey, I'm coming to meet with you next month. We should also talk about this plan. It can really save you some money. So keep that in mind. You can prospect with this consumer video. You can also prospect with our consumer infographic. So if you're not going to play the video or share it with the client, you should get some of our infographics from GTL. We'll mail them right to your front doorstep. A one-page piece that has an example just like shown in the video. We've also found from experience that getting your closing ratio up, it's important to show your applicants the actual example. So when they see how the plan can work for them, they'll be like, yeah, okay, I see this, now I definitely want it. Something that's brand new this year is we have a client presentation that you can use with your clients. So it's a flip chart presentation, PDF form, if you will. So if you're going to do some virtual presentations this open enrollment, we got you set up. We got you covered with both e-application platforms and a client presentation you can walk through quickly with the client to get them familiar with the product. So I want to let you know that not only is this an incredible product, it's been the market leader for a long time. Premier's been a great partner with us for close to 20 years. So if you are not ready to go with GTL, let's get set up through Premier. You can contact them at the information with the information on your screen. Also, if you need anything like supplies, you want to know a little bit more about the e-app, questions about the product, feel free to reach out to GTL Sales Support, 800-323-6907 or agency@gtlic.com. And I'm going to send the links to the consumer video, to the infographic, to the client presentation to John today, and he'll be able to forward those out to you with the other email with this presentation recording. So that's what I've got for you today. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out. John, do we have some questions we can tackle?
Yeah, Greg, we've got three. One is,
okay,
if a person is in the guarantee issue period between 64 to 65 and a half, they have the base policy and a number of the riders that are available, but you mentioned that the cancer rider is not guarantee issue. Let's suppose someone's applied for the policy, they've applied for that rider as well, and if it's declined, how does it affect the rest of the policy that's being applied for?
Oh, so very simple. If the client's guarantee issue, they don't have any of the medical questions to answer. However, if you want the lump sum cancer rider, that has separate 4 questions. So you would be answering those, and you would need to answer those 4 questions no in order to get it. So you could definitely get the product and any of the riders with the exception of the lump sum cancer rider coming in as guarantee issue.
Awesome. Are the benefits taxed?
No, none of the benefits from GTL that are paid out to the policyholders are taxed.
Awesome. Carol has a second question there that speaks to the question that a lot of the policies that are out there on the base medical are on a per stay basis now. I think you've reviewed this in your timeline, but how does this policy pay with multiple admissions into a hospital?
Well, that's a great question. It's always good to review that. I mean, basically, if a client, they can use some or all of their benefit period, and then after 60 days of not being in the hospital, they get a new one. So if they have to go into the hospital for a couple of days, come home, and then a couple of days later go back in, that's okay. They can just continue to use the amount of days that they had in their benefit period until they use them up. And even if they don't use them all up, they still get a brand new benefit period after 60 days of no use. So unlimited restorations, and we all know how it is today. They get you in the hospital and they try to get you out as soon as possible. So I very rarely ever hear of a client getting a 6-day benefit period or a 10-day benefit period and running out of days.
Okay. One of the next questions deals with the reasoning for going into a hospital, and also asking about, is there a stroke rider?
So this product does not have a heart attack and stroke rider. We do have a standalone heart attack and stroke plan, or cancer, heart attack, and stroke plan if they want to get all those coverages put together. However, if the client is going into the hospital due to a stroke, as long as they're in there long enough for their base plan to kick in, they've got their coverage kicking in for their inpatient hospitalization. Probably taking an ambulance too if they had a stroke. So they've got an ambulance rider, they're going to get some money there too.
Okay. The other one, another question deals with plan availability. You gave us a bit of a map, and you noted that in 6 states it wasn't available for issue, but if a person moved there, the policy would remain in place. This question applies to Florida. Is Florida one of those 6 states?
No, actually, we do have this plan available in Florida. It goes under the name of Indemnity Plus, but same thing applies. It's the same exact product that we went over today. All the riders, all the base plans that we went over are available in Florida. And yeah, even if they have a Florida policy and they move to any other state, they can keep it in force, use it in any of the 50 states. Just have to pay the premium and they're good.
Awesome. A couple popped up here just a moment ago. The cost of the plan, the premiums, that information, where would they find that?
Sure. So the best way to do it is to just download GTLE app onto your Apple or Android device, or you can go to gtlic.com and do the agent login and then go right to quoting an application. The first part of that is going to be just putting in the data and you'll get your quote. We do have rate guides available, so either you want a paper version or a PDF version, we can always email those to you. Just call sales support, and be more than happy to email those to you really quickly.
Awesome. And the last question that we're seeing here is, are the products all explained on the website, and not only the product information, but their availability for different states?
Absolutely. So if you go to the website, you'll notice that there's a link that you can click to see the availability in your state. And it's actually kind of really nice because it's not just clicking on a state and seeing what products are available. It actually gives the detail of what base plans and riders are available on each product when you do click it.
Awesome. And that's the questions that we have. I'm going to pull the load back to us here, Greg. Thank you for the presentation. And we'll finish up with just a few slides regarding Premier's involvement. And once again, thank you, Greg. When we look at some of the other things, when we look at some of the other things that are necessary for you to market product, GTL has an impeccable reputation for agent support and for their systems. Some of the things that we can help you with as well is obviously get you contracted for the program if you don't have it in play. But as we go through the year, we can determine that there might be some holes in our own portfolio, and we might need multiple contracts. In that circumstance, we have a software system that allows you to create an agent profile and apply for contracts electronically, which speeds up the process, much like submitting an application electronically makes it much faster. So in these circumstances, it allows you to create that agent profile with your pertinent information. It answers the questions generically that are commonly asked in contracts, a great way to do things much more quickly and thoroughly with this process. We also help you protect your financial interest, and in most circumstances, this is a contracting requirement from the carriers as well, where we offer discounted errors and admissions coverage. Unlike being added to a blanket E&O for just a product, this is a program you own and covers you regardless of the insurance product and whom you contract through. So a great way to protect yourself there. We also help you keep your license in play with discounted continuing education programs through our association with WebCE. You can add to your own benefit package as an independent agent by adding a modified guarantee issued DI policy to your own benefit portfolio and share in the commission. And much as where today's presentation is being recorded, past presentations have been as well. They are available on our website at premiersmi.com or our YouTube channel. But this allows you to go into and review different product and carrier offerings, but also different marketing programs that we have in play that can help you get in front of individuals to offer you programs. Many of the companies also offer different trips and incentives. We've gathered them all into one place on our website as well to make certain that you are receiving all the compensation that you're entitled to. And in many circumstances, those trips and incentives also help you qualify for Premier's Producers Convention as well. Some of the things we do to put you in front of people, well, one of the ways that you can use the program we discussed today is as a turning 65 allure of sort, and we can help provide a contact list for you, butted up against Do Not Call. It's available to you at either low or no cost at all, depending upon your contracting situation. But this gives you then the opportunity to tap into that T65 market, a competitive market, with a different approach and a very effective one as well, because of the advantages of taking care of that GI period and the rates that are available to a younger individual. This is also a program that can help you in community-based marketing programs too, where GTL has provided all these wonderful sales tools and videos that can help you with presentations in centers of influence within the community, and do so compliantly and very simply. It gives you the opportunity to do so on a face-to-face basis or on a virtual basis. And that's very important in the time that we're in now, because quite frankly, you have limitations on live presentations. We don't know exactly how long some of the things we're dealing with now will go on. It's important to be able to pivot and do things live and do things virtually. It is also a component that is something that you can create additional sales by working through the different retail programs that are out there. It's part of a generic scope of appointment you've got to have anyway. Completing that sets up that conversation as well, even if you're in a circumstance where time is very tight and you're taking care of the base coverage and coming back to the individual with some of the additional programs that help them cover other expenses. It also helps you with presentations with churches or other faith-based organizations. It's a preset type of program that can really help you be effective and integrate into your regular rotation into those different places where you're doing presentations. It can also help when you talk with different providers, doctors and specialists, realize the cost of a hospital stay, and these types of programs can help them with their patients as well. Some carriers do provide leads at this time. We see that during EEP with your relationships that you've developed with different MA or PDP programs. It's important to note that these can serve as a filler into your lead funnel as well for these extra programs like the ones that GTL offers. We do also offer support with internet leads and direct mail support. The direct mail support is production-based that deeply discounts the cost of direct mail. We use vetted vendors to make certain that the letters are compliant and protect you, but it's a great outreach into the community with a proven marketing strategy that keeps you in front of folks that are eligible for the products you offer and are in need of them as well. We also have a couple of different programs we recently rolled out that if you can't budget for a full mail campaign yourself, sometimes, just as soon as we can get some of the leads back on other programs, well, those are available for you too. It can be a little more amenable to your budget, but it's a way for you to get additional direct mail responses through one of our lead vendors on a per lead basis as well. We also have a Facebook campaign that gives you an opportunity to turn around quickly. Facebook and a lot of the social media, we're kind of in a microwave society. It's a great way to get someone to raise their hand quickly, and those are available for you in a couple of different categories off of the internet as well. And then, of course, the pertinent point that Greg alluded to a bit earlier is the fact that this is a very referable product. As people have the program, they become comfortable with it, and particularly if they've had a claim, they realize its value, and they like to speak to their family and friends about it, so it makes you referable as well. We want to make certain that you have some of the details on the upgraded Medicare Center that we recently announced. It gives you an opportunity to use this tool to help you cross-sell as well. It offers a CRM for you to use within the program itself. We found that many agents are working off of either list, paper, or maybe an Excel format. Many do have a CRM that they use, that they purchase. This one is available to you without cost. Contracts through our organizations that give you the opportunity to become a modern warrior of sorts and use a CRM that can help you in dealing with your prospects and clients. It's got a singular logon for all the devices that are in it, and a learning center to help you access additional topics as well. A couple of the programs that deal with the Medicare Advantage and PDP programs include both programs that are powered by Connecture and Sunfire, so you have those options available with a singular logon and the ability to use either according to your choice. And they also offer different signatures outside of paper, of course, and ways for someone to enroll. Text to enroll is a very hot topic. Rebounding and pulling in the scope of appointment electronically by text has been a very frequently requested option, and so we've accommodated that as well. And of course, the Medicare Supplement tool that comes as part of that package also gives you different opportunities to cross-sell and fill in the blanks through some of the options that are available. We have a recording of that will come as part of the follow-up as well. Very simple way of doing it. And it makes certain that you are, one, discussing everything you need with your prospects and clients to give them both the maximum opportunity for maximum coverage, but also guarding your household and your book of business. You speak of it. Someone else can't go in behind you and snag your folks, so to speak. And it gives you that, of course, additional revenue stream. And with more than one product in a household, your persistency goes up across the board. So they also offer an e-app, a scope of appointment as well for that program, a way to filter for low-income subsidy help with their medications, and bundle through their newly announced shopping cart option as well. All this said and done is a illustration of our hope to work with you in more than one area, certainly with GTL, but we're asking you for your business. We'd like to work with you with this program as well, simply because it is a need for your prospects and clients and a great advantage for you to be contracted with and offering a program with a national leader. So that said and done, it's your decision to make this part of your personal marketing plan. As you do so, we proceed very quickly with this. There's no certifications you have to do for this contract, so it's a great way to move quickly. We have the opportunity as well to speak with you about this one-on-one. You will be receiving the email follow-up with all the material that we referenced through the presentation. But if you know you need this, you need it really quickly, call our toll-free number, 1-800-365-8208. If you're working with a marketer now, they'll be happy to run through this program with you. If you're not, we can have you set up with an individual that will walk you through the process, and you can receive information off our website as well at premiersmi.com. I'm going to check questions really quickly. Carol's asking if we have a Facebook webinar. These are posted on YouTube, not on Facebook, and we haven't utilized Facebook for webinars at this point in time. That said, I think that's all the questions that we have that we haven't addressed. We want to thank you for coming on the line with us today, investing your most precious resource, which is your time. We urge you to watch for the follow-up, and in that we'll also have a link for GTL's summit that they're doing next week, so you can make certain that you can see a full portfolio of products from this great partner and another perspective on how to approach the folks that need our help today and through any open enrollment period. So all that said, before we visit with you again, or until we visit with you again, we want to thank you once again for coming on with us today. And until we speak in the future, we wish you good selling. Thanks so very much. Greg, thank you for your presentation. Watch for the follow-up, and we'll speak with you all soon. Thanks so very much.
Thanks, everyone.